What's up, peeps? I haven't been around for a while, and I do kind of recognize that. Um, it's kind of been difficult to really manifest my love for music with a passion that I don't really have, which is for content creation. I have a lot of good ideas. Um, I've just been focusing on one video a month for now. I really don't have that much motivation, but I do have this little thing. It's kind of a weird oddity that I found, and I kind of want to talk about it. But the thing is, I'm going to be talking about someone in a pretty negative light, I guess. Which means that I can't trust the internet to not be assholes about it for 5 minutes. Don't harass this person just because he happens to make objectively bad music. I just want to talk about it because I've seen nobody else do it, and I kind of find it an oddity. Hi. So imagine this. You're an Oregonian living in the town of Lebanon. You love brutal death metal. In fact, you love it so much that you want to make some. Perfect. But you don't really want to work with anyone else. Alright? That's working. There's a ton of stuff out there so that solo artists can make great music. Um, so you want to make a label for all your stuff, alright? Pretty chill. Let's call it Raped by Zombies. That sounds pretty badass. I'm just gonna call the guy who runs all this by his first name, Alex. Now, if the entire thing was just a net label, that'll be perfectly fine. But no, he makes physical copies of most of his releases. Imagine paying money for a clearly AI generated cover. You would not be secured to Dubski with that one. So, just saying. Pro tip. I originally came across this whole project when I was digging around for bad music, and someone showed me this song. So, this is the first thing that I came across from Alex, which is Necromorphic Spawn Xenomorph Colony. The EP is a pretty good showcase of everything done by Alex. The production is poor with a really confusing mixing job. Um, in brutal death metal, you have like these super low gutturals, right? But they in this case they're really, really pushed to the front, and it's in a way of the guitars and the drumming, which you don't want. The presence of it is very nice though. Back to the gutturals, they are extremely one note, constant, and monotonous. It literally makes no breathing room for any of the instruments. It's actually kind of irritating. The samples are also really, really low quality and go on for way too long. A lot of these characteristics will show up in other bands, I guess, more like later releases. Now we have Rape Walker, Post Traumatic Murder. Um, this is the second one that I heard from Alex, and it is by far the worst. Oh my gosh, this might be like one of the worst albums I've ever heard. Um, the instrumentals are extremely lazy and sloppy, with his signature droning gutturals at work. If they sounded any good, yeah, not so much. The fact that the cover is obviously AI generated with a quick Photoshop job is just a cherry on top. The drumming is very, very flat. It's like a bad drum machine, actually. The riffs are just as one note and muffled, and each riff is repeated to death, which isn't even that good to begin with. He never stops with his damn gutturals, and the songs even cut out. It's just very lazy and poorly done in general. We also can't forget to bring on the merch. Yeah. And now we have his most recent release, Fuck to Death, with the Seven Deadly Sins .ep. I like the nice devourment reference. Fuck to Death is a song that was on Molesting the Decapitated, one of my favorite albums of all time. Now, I actually do like the samples on this, and Alex seems to be able to make decent drums this time. The guitar is still muffled, but the tone is sharp. Bass-wise, the bass drops are a bit annoying as it cleaves through the production like a knife. I really hate it when that happens. It sounds like garbage, and me no like you. But man, he will not shut up for once and let the music sink in. His gutturals just get in the way of everything. It drowns like most of the stuff out. Um, but I will give him this. It's a noticeable improvement, but pretty average. One note that actually is positive is Alex's move away from AI generated images for the most part. To confusing Photoshop abominations. You can clearly see the blood splatter one.png are all over these images. Um, I'm not saying that like he should stop doing that. I should say that I don't like them. Art's subjective and all that. But this was a short little video on something weird that I found on the interwebs. See you later. I'll be trying to be working on more bigger videos than just this.